What's up everybody and welcome to my channel. Today we are finally diving into the carbs on my Kz750. We are going to be rebuilding and rejetting them, and I suggest that before you take your bike to a mechanic, see if you can do it yourself, because when I first got my bike I ended up getting screwed over by a mechanic I thought was trustworthy. As you'll see when we dive into these, I already took a look at them to see how I was rejetting it, and turns out the mechanic I brought it to in order to rejet and rebuild my carbs, all the jets are still factory size, all stamped the factory numbers, and there are some problems with the carbs that he obviously didn't tell me about, even though if he did I could have made it work regardless. But I ended up having to pay $500 for the guy not even to rejet it, and I don't even know if he rebuilt them, because after I even brought it to him they didn't even run as good as they did as when I brought it to them. So do your due diligence, make sure if you can do it yourself, just do it yourself. But let me show you what we have here before we start taking everything apart. Alright, so right here we got the carbs off. As you see, there's a breather hose on here, this one's plugged, and these two tee together. That's how it was from factory. These filters are the old filters that'll be coming off, but we got new ones. These are the carburetor rebuild kits for these carbs. These are Keihin Carbs, made in Japan. There's another type of carb that might come on your bike, so just make sure these are the proper ones. So in the carburetor kits right here, we have the float bowl O-ring, which is the largest one right here. We have the idle mixture screw with an O-ring, a washer, a spring, and a plug for the USDM models. We have a O-ring for the plug over the pilot jet, and then we have an O-ring for the drain plug right here, and then we have the float needle itself. This is also a little pin set in order to clean any jets if we were going to reuse them, which we are reusing one of them. But so these are the jets that we got. We have the primary main jet and the secondary main jet. I did quite a bit of research to see which jets would work for these carbs in order to run a better flowing exhaust and the pod filters. What I found was the primary main jets, we want to run 70s, where the stock ones are quite a bit smaller. I believe they're 62. We'll double check when we take apart the carbs. And then the secondary main jets are 140s, where the factory ones I believe are around 132 to 134. So I'll double check the stock ones for you. And then the other jets, which would be the pilot jet and the needle jet, those are both staying stock. I believe the pilot jet is a 35, but like I said, we'll double check. Let's start with the first one and we'll go from there. I also got all new hardware because a lot of these bolts on the heads are stripped from whoever took these apart. One's also missing, another one was missing a lock washer, so just a bunch of random stuff. So I figured get new hardware and you can't go wrong. Alright, so we'll start with this one. Then we got the spring. Don't lose that. We also have the diaphragm. Be careful taking this out, you don't want it to rip. Also, I think they're all discontinued. So this needle is also staying the same, and too bad you can't adjust it on these, but it is what it is. So there you go. That's taken apart, nothing crazy. Flip it over. I'll take off the bottom. Holy shit. Alright. So you can see how disgusting that is from the gas that sat in there. Also, I am missing the overflow needle. Like I said, the mechanic never told me about it. I would have gotten a new float bowl, or in this case, I actually got some stainless tubing that is the proper diameter. I'm hoping I could get it in there and then cut it to length to match the other ones. But we'll get to that after the fact. So right here we have the secondary main jet on top, and this is a 125 from factory. This is the primary main jet, and this one is a 62 from factory. And like I said, we're jumping from a 125 to a 140 and a 62 to a 70. And then in here under the plug we have another jet, which is the pilot jet, and if I'm not mistaken, this is a 35. And yes, the pilot jet is a 35, and that we're keeping a 35. So this is one that you'll have to clean out, make sure there's no contaminants in here before replacing it. Let's take these out. We'll have to separate these two. When it comes to the needle jet, this one might be hard to take out. It's this top one right here, so be careful. And if you can't get it out, just make sure to clean it where it sits. Secondary main jet is out. I'll probably end up spraying all these with brake clean, making sure all those little holes are all cleared out. That's getting replaced, that's getting replaced. This gets a new O-ring. I wanted a new plug because it's cracked, but it is what it is. So you'll need some picks to get this off, and then we'll clean this out. Still quite a bit of contaminants in there. That's all just discolored. I'll keep cleaning that, but that already looks so much better than it did. And then of course we'll have to spray all the needles and everything out as well, but we'll continue that. While I'm here, we're going to clean this out. It's quite corroded. A little crustiness coming off. That already looks a million times better. Alright. You got those couple jets. This pin, super easy to slide out of this. Just gonna clean these up real quick, nothing crazy. So this is where the float needle is. As you can see, hangs on there. This is getting replaced because that comes in the rebuild kit. Make sure these are straight and in good condition. I did have one that was bent, so I just bent it back. Not sure how much of a difference that's going to make, but just remember how these go. The little tab for the float recesses down. Let's take all these out. These will all have to get cleaned. Alright, so this is a jet we're going to reuse. Just going to spray some brake clean through it. Does look a little gunked up. Wow. The hole in this, the smallest one, barely fits, so definitely make sure that's cleaned out. That's crazy. This one we're not using. Just clean the rest of this out. These ones on the side are super tiny. So if you can make sure those are clear, I'd recommend it while you're in here. This I gotta make sure in here is clean. Honestly, these carbs aren't too dirty, thankfully. So this one's gonna be a little annoying. The idle screw. There's a spring in there, and then an O-ring. Spring, as you see. Alright, I guess washer and O-ring will not get replaced. I'm doing 3 turns out as a baseline for all of them. They'll go from there. This one I'm not putting the O-ring in yet, just because I still have to do the overflow screw or overflow pin. But the rest of it can go in. So we have number 35 jet right there. Just make sure it's snug. You don't want to go crazy with it. Got the main jet right here. Gonna put these two together. Right here. Doesn't have to be crazy. And the O-ring for this, and the O-ring for the drain. The last two. I'd probably recommend using some petroleum jelly. I don't have any on me right now, aka Vaseline. The purpose of the grease is so you don't pinch the O-ring. Damn, this one's hard to get in. Jesus. Alright, so like I said, I gotta come back to this one for the overflow pin. So we're gonna do that. I'll put in the gasket later, but so I don't lose anything, just putting this one back together. We're going back in there. This side I don't believe we'll have to take off again. Alright, so with this carb, I took this off to make sure none of them were rejetted. Obviously they were not. I guess I tightened them again. But this one main jet in the back was actually so stuck that when I went to loosen it, the brass head snapped off. So what I had to do was take a saw, cut it deeper, and then wedge a thicker flathead in here to actually get it out. So, holy shit. Hopefully it's not stuck now. Motherfucker. Well, I got it out like that before. Oh wait, no, I lied. This was the one that I couldn't get out at all. What? Am I missing another piece? Oh no, I'm going crazy. Okay, so I lied. This one I couldn't get out. I tried sawing it deeper. So here, we're actually going to have to use a drill and a tap to get it out. I have a couple, so let's take out the rest of this stuff, and then we will see which screw extractor I need to use. I said drill and tap, I meant bolt extractor. I keep using the fucking hand tools. Alright, so place this aside. This one's all crusty and shit too, so this all has to get cleaned. Alright, set that aside. Jesus. This bowl is in much better shape than the other one. God damn it. Alright, so bolt extractor is not working. So I guess I'll just have to drill it out big enough to clean the threads out. drill too far. That's the only thing I'm concerned about. Ugh. I don't know what to do next. Genuinely, I don't know what to do next. Might have to take a break, see, and like brainstorm what I can do. Because I thought that would come out with the bolt extractor, but I guess not. And I don't want to drill it too far because there's another brass jet in there. I don't know. The rest, they'll all come out. It's only this one. Worst comes to worst, I guess I'll just replace that one. So, I don't know. I gotta take a break and brainstorm. So I wasn't recording, but I got the main jet out. I used this tap, hit it with it. I keep calling it a tap. I used this bolt extractor, tapped it a couple times with the hammer, and then put this handle on it, and it slowly came out. Still required a lot of work. I thought I was filming, but I guess I wasn't. And then in here there's another jet of sorts. It's where are we? Bleed pipe. So the bleed pipe, I ended up nicking on the top slightly. Not sure if you can see that in there. If I can get it out, I will, and just clean it up. Should be okay. I just got to make sure there's no shavings in there because there's a bunch in the carburetor bowl itself. So, all right, got to get that out, maybe, and then clean it up. All right, we got the new jets in. Cleaned up everything else. Don't mind that metal shaving. Not sure how that got in there. Same thing with this plug. Gonna get some petroleum jelly. It'll slip right in. So just putting that there for now because we're gonna have to take off all these bowls for replacing the hardware anyway. So I'll get some petroleum jelly to do that. But we got the new O-ring here. We got the new float needle. Get that on there. Boom. Put the pin in. Let's make sure the O-ring stays where it's supposed to. Make sure it's not pinched. Technically I should put the new hardware on now, but I want to make sure everything's clean first, and then that'll be the cherry on top. This is 2 down and 2 to go. Bring lid. Auto screw and spring it out. New one in. And then same as before, I'm gonna bottom it out and then back it out 3 turns. One, 2, 3. Next, carburetor number 3. Nice when things work how they should. How they should. Doesn't happen often, so I gotta take it when it does happen. Besides the float bowl, all those new shiny parts are in. Last one. Alright, so one problem we have is the idle air screw, the head snapped off. So we're gonna try to drill it out, get the screw extractor and pull it out. I'm hoping it works. So wish me luck. We will try this tiny one first because we could always go bigger. Just make sure it's centered. There's no hole in the tip of it, so technically we can go all the way down if we need. I'm only gonna go, let's say, half the drill bit, maybe a little less to be safe. All right. Nope. That was a good noise. That might have not been a good noise. Nope. Fuck. God damn it. Looks like I'm gonna need a new carburetor body for carb number 4. Alright, so as you heard when I was trying to take out that one idle air screw, you heard 2 snaps. The first one sounded like it was breaking loose. The second one, I said I didn't like the sound of. And if you look right here, the body of the carburetor cracked. So in this case, this means I'm gonna need a new number 4 carburetor. Gonna see if somebody has a single one. If not, I'll have to buy a whole new set and then replace the last one. But for the most part, you guys understand how to rebuild and rejet the carbs already. Alright, so I'm gonna end the video here. I don't need to drag this out with me replacing that last carburetor because you guys understand how to reseal and rejet the carbs to this point. We replaced the main jet and the secondary main jet. We replaced all the seals. We cleaned everything that we were reusing, and that's really it. It's not too difficult. You just want to be thorough, make sure everything goes back in the right spots, don't lose anything, clean everything, because you saw those holes on those jets were very tiny. So I definitely recommend getting that jet cleaner kit, the pins, because without that, there was one of them where I wouldn't have gotten all those brass shavings out after I had drilled out the primary main jet. So yeah, you saw the tools we used: little adjustable, a pick, a long skinny flathead, normal flatheads, a Phillips head screwdriver, and all generic tools. Or if you don't have the long skinny screwdriver, the picks, they are cheap. Alright, so I hope that was helpful. If you guys enjoyed the video or want to see what happens next with the build, feel free to stick around, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button if you enjoyed so I know. And until then, we'll see you in the next one. Peace. So I hope that was helpful.